So hi and welcome to Expo, the show where we go through some of the best new videos of the week. And in today's show we got clips from names like Wendy and Lisa, Bon Jovi, INXS and many more. We're also having the world premiere of the new Cure video, and I seem to have the two men behind that video with me here today. Robert Smith from The Cure, welcome, and Tim Pope, the director of all Cure videos.
No, not all of them.
Not all of them?
All the worst ones.
Well, that's enough then. We'll talk more about that. Now, this new video that we'll see is for your new single called Lullaby, which is off a forthcoming LP. In comparison with your other LPs, how do you feel about this LP?
Obviously, I think it's the best one, because you always say that.
Yeah, I know.
But I do actually, I think it's one of the best three out of all the ones that we've done. It's difficult to sort of place it yet, because it's still only just finished, really, in Cure time.
Which one of your LPs would you say it comes closest to, if it does?
Faith, probably. Faith and Pornography, it sort of slots in between those two in a weird way.
You made 11 LPs with The Cure. When going to the studio, is there now such a thing as routine?
There isn't really, no, because even though we've made 11 records, there's been at least 5 different groups. I always think of The Cure as like at least 5 different groups. Every time someone leaves or comes in that's new, it changes the whole sort of setup, and everyone adopts a different persona and new characters evolve. So there isn't really a routine. I suppose the only routine is that we would only work 5 minutes out of 60. That's sort of established itself pretty much over the years.
That's become the special thing. Tim, you've directed, as you said, most of the Cure videos.
Yeah.
I've heard all of them, but then I must have wrong information. Do you feel like you're an expert on The Cure?
Not really. I don't think you could ever be an expert on The Cure. I don't think Robert's an expert on The Cure. No.
Would you want to be an expert?
No, I'd hate to be. Not really.
Would you say that somebody else could work with The Cure?
I'd always be very interested to see it, actually, just to see what they do. I mean, you should see some of the earlier videos. I quite like some of the earlier one. I like that. That 10:15 Saturday night and things like that. They're really good. And Robert's all sort of young and has come in. You did it in your lunchtime, didn't you?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you couldn't do that now, though, could you?
No, unfortunately, we couldn't. Now we take about 2 weeks to make a video.
Yeah. So maybe you should have somebody else directing the video just to make Tim Pope happy.
This is a very novel way to start.
Cheers, I'm out of the job. Great, thank you. I'm coming back here, mate.
Well, you haven't devoted yourself totally to The Cure. There's also been other work.
I have put it about this.
And I think perhaps the viewers should get a chance to see some of your work. So we'll roll in a little compilation. I kept playing the 12-inch when we had that video. I really like that one. Yeah, anyway, that's only a very small sample of all your work, and that's something that we sort of chosen here at MTV and put together. It's not your own show reel. How many videos have there actually been?
Oh Christ, I lost count years ago. No idea.
But sort of?
It's been, I don't know, I know it's been about 20 with The Cure, all in all. So I don't know really.
A few too many with other people.
Here we go. I'm out of my job now.
You would like to have him working for you only?
No.
For what?
No, I think that some of the best videos have actually not been with us. I mean, some of the best ones have been with us as well, but I like the Neil Young ones. I think they're really good. When I saw those.
Yeah, you didn't show a bit. My favourite video I've ever done was actually for Neil Young, which was one called Touch the Night, which was supposed to, and it was all shot on video, and it was like a real news item, but it was quite sort of mad.
And we didn't even put that in there. Sorry about that. Is there a particular style in music that you prefer to do videos for?
No, just anything that feels like anything. So little music these days feels like anything to me. So I just think if anything feels like something, then it's great. Then I can make a film to it. But so little music, you've just got people just going, and it means nothing. I don't know. It's just great to have anything that feels these days.
So do you turn down lots of bands?
Millions of them.
Tell me some of them.
No, I couldn't be.
The Rolling Stones you turned down, didn't you? Only yesterday.
Only yesterday, yeah. Mick, I said no, loads of them. I do a lot more adverts these days, actually, because it's so. I mean, for me, anyway. I don't know. I'm not too modern these days, so I do a lot more adverts just because. And everyone says, "Oh, you sold out because you're doing adverts." It's not true. It's just because the music's sold out.
What is the difference, though?
Yeah, exactly. No, there's a point.
Maybe we should talk a little bit more about that. We're about to see that world premiere of The Cure video. Just before we see it, who comes up with the ideas for this when you work together?
It's sort of split down the middle, I think. I have a very fixed idea with songs like Lullaby, like a visual idea of what the song's about, and it's like a storyline. And I go to Pap, and then he interprets it into his own sort of ideas, you know.
Yeah,
and then I see it later, and I think, That looks just how I imagined, I think.
He pretends that to it. No, we sort of meet up and we both pretend we understand what each other says, sort of thing, and neither of us understands anything. And then we get there, and none of it looks like anything we thought in the first place, and it just happens really in an odd sort of a way.
But it turns out great. So I think it's time for us to check out that lullaby video. Here it comes. Wow! That's
Yeah,
great,
really?
especially if you have that spider paranoia I have. What is the song about, really?
That.
Spider nightmare.
No, it's just when I was young, I think when you're young, a lot of times you feel sort of scared of going to sleep. You know, like when you're really young, I can still remember the light being turned off, and like for a few minutes, you're really not sure that the shadow in the room is quite what you think it is. It was just that, and I was just throwing in sort of thinly veiled phobias and fixations that I've got about other things, which were drawn glaringly out into the open by Pat when he made the video. So it's just like about that kind of feeling that you go to bed, and like if you go to bed to sleep and it's supposed to refresh you, if you go to bed and you've got like a fear of sleep, you just like you've lost everything. You just feel really upset, bitty. That's the end.
Looking back on all the videos that you've done, because you mentioned something like 20, do you find that now that you're working on videos, that you sort of you have more professional attitude? The result is more deliberate than it was when you started out doing Cure videos?
Well, it depends really, doesn't it?
It's this one was the first time we'd used a storyboard since the very first one that he did. Let's
Did
Go
we
to
do a
Bed.
storyboard on the first one? I don't remember.
Do you remember? Well, it's like a picture
Sort
book
of thing, yes.
It was like
Yeah.
had a triangle. I mean, we tried to put it down
Yeah.
on paper what we were going to do, and we gave up after that.
Yeah.
And this is the first one because it's quite a sort of cinematic approach. It was, it told a very definite story, and also it was quite complicated because I wasn't just being me, going like that. I was actually, I had to look ugly for one thing, and that was in itself
Very hard to do.
Yeah.
Do you like making? Because I've heard that it wasn't very comfortable actually doing this video. I saw like clips of you talking about making the video. You were lying on a board, and the bed wasn't like a nice, comfortable bed. Do you deliberately try to make somebody perform better by?
Never. No, I just never. Absolutely not in my character at all. No, I just think it's good for people to sort of get out and suffer a little bit, if you know what I mean. There was a bit of suffering went on in that one, really, didn't it?
This wasn't quite as bad as it could have been, I suppose, but because I don't really like spiders either. I mean, that's why it's about this Spider-Man. I thought if I don't say this like really definitely very early on, I'm going to pull back the sheets and I'm going to be in a bed and they say, but there's only 35 spiders there. So I said that I wouldn't be on the set at the same time as any sort of like bird-eating spiders, so I wasn't there when the spider was filmed. I don't think I would have coped very well with that. Being drowned in cold water is one thing, but being in a bed with spiders is...
You know what, though? What was amazing? The bloke who was handling that spider, because obviously I didn't handle it, this bloke picked it up by the big bulbous bit. I couldn't believe it. He picked it up. No, but that's...
Disgusting. We got some commercials coming up now. We'll be right back with some more music, so stay tuned out there. I've seen that a few times as well. But now that was sort of like a rap thing. And is there anything in rap, hip hop, or house that has sort of like interested you?
Not overly, no. The record label that we're on, Fiction, is like it's a small independent, and the bloke who runs it also runs a label called Desire, and they've got involved in like the Detroit and Chicago house stuff over about the past 18 months. So I've been exposed to quite a lot of it. I think the only good thing about it, well, one of the few good things about it, is that it's taken the idea back. It's almost a bit like punk, that anyone can sort of do it, and it's really, really simple. It's a very basic sort of form of music. But having said that, it is, I mean, and this might seem funny coming from me, but it is excruciatingly repetitious. I mean, that's exactly the same song that he just did with a different video to it. They were all singing "Wow" thing. And that's sort of like, it was good the first time you heard it, but I mean, it's cack. It's a dreadful video as well. I hate people that wear lumps of gold around them. They should be shot.
Let's get some statements. What do you think?
Well, it looks very modern to me. Looks very modern to me. And I mean, I've never really heard much about it. I haven't got many opinions about it, but I wouldn't lend them my record collection because they'd scratch it, wouldn't they? But the video, I love a video with a chicken, and I love a video with a dog in, and sometimes, animals. What can I say?
For the hot video, you made a special mix, didn't you? and you did the same thing I've heard for Lullaby.
Yeah.
Is that a normal thing? I haven't heard about this before, that people do like a special mix for their video.
Well, most people can't be bothered. That's why. I mean, like we did it for Close to Me as well. We we sort of know what the film will look like, and we try to apply like a sort of cinematic sort of idea. So that Close to Me we mixed, and it was much drier, wasn't it? Than I mean, it was like all the reverb was taken off, so it was really claustrophobic. And everyone says that video makes them feel really claustrophobic, and part of that I think was due to the sound.
It's
Most
really
people
easy.
just
It's very easy. It just is a case of like
have to think
going
about
in
it.
for an extra day and just doing, you know. On Lullaby, all we did was I just brought up all the backing voices really loud and all the sort of the breathing and the sticky noises, just so that I mean, they're still quite subliminal, but when you watch it, you hear things, and it also means that Pep can do something visually that will correspond to a noise.
But also we do another thing visually that I think a lot of groups do, and that's just because they don't think about doing it, which is a lot of the videos continue from one to the other. So for example, for your actual Cure fans, there are a lot of jokes in that, which like there's a sock in it and all sorts of stupid jokes that we've repeated for years and years and years just because we can't think of any new ones. And obviously that whole video was a statement about in relation to the wardrobe video. It was that whole idea again. Run out of ideas.
All right, I think it's time for us to well, we talk some more, but we'll see a new video now. It comes from Wendy and Lisa.
Yes, that's pop maternity wear,
I don't
definitely.
know.
What do you think of them? You work with them.
Oh, my two favourite people in the world, apart from Robert, is my other two favourite people in the world. But no, they're great. They're really great. And it's the first time I've heard that song. I did their first two videos actually, Waterfall and another one, and it's great. And I see. That's a little bit of my video there. It's not moving there, unfortunately. We couldn't afford the moving bit. But there's another bit. Oh, look, now there. Look, now there's Suzanne as well, which is Wendy's twin sister. And I think that was Suzanne in the last video, the one that we just saw. And I think that was Lisa's sister as well, because I went round their house.
The one you thought was pregnant.
She's definitely pregnant.
But not because I went round their house. Definitely not.
Now, most musicians around today, or lots of musicians around today, seem to have this sort of great admiration for the Prince sound. Do you share this?
I like a lot of the stuff that he's done. Yeah, I thought Sign of the Times was a godlike album, and that's obviously a lot of the backing vocals and stuff, and the guitar sound and the snare drums. It's very Prince.
Yeah, but I think they were very much part of that sound.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
they were. But it's like it just hasn't sort of got that musically. Doesn't sort of really have the same kind of invention. I don't think it's like Prince's best stuff. It's the sort of thing that I imagine the Cure tumbling out of their minibus in the garage forecourt and sort of doing this to that one, but I can't imagine us actually watching it on the bus. That's the difference. It is, it's like, and it is basically either on the bus or off it, like you are.
I was on the bus. Can I tell you a story about their bus?
Yeah, come on.
Look, worried. Worried. No, a story of most popular music stars, you go around on their bus and on the back of their seats you see pictures of sort of ladies like from pop videos or dog, and chicks and all that sort of thing. But and on the back of their seats I was very impressed because there was a picture of a curry, which I was very impressed by.
That Simons.
The Simons, on the back of Simon's seat there was a picture of a curry.
But it was a pretty shapely curry though.
It was a fabulous curry.
It's time for us to see something real American now, because here comes Bon Jovi.
Whoa.
Whoa. You're both obviously great fans of Bon Jovi.
I've never heard of them myself, but I love the chick who was singing the lead vocals.
What do you think of it, honestly?
I can't, can I? Because it's supposed to be live and I've been told what not to say. I find it deeply offensive, things like that. I really do. In fact, just like 30 seconds of that reinforces all my beliefs in why the Cure started and why we should keep going. That's how much I find I detest it deep down in my soul.
So maybe it's good that music like that is around, to make bands like
it's
you.
around more than we are.
the only thing I can think of saying, when we in the break we were saying there that all their videos are set in stadiums, and the only reason I can think of is that it's near the word tedium. That's maybe it.
Yes, a clever play on words.
Clever. I like to be clever on television.
Maybe this is the time then when we should talk a little bit about what kind of music you actually listen to that you like. Is there still any music that influences you?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of new stuff that I like. No, there is. My Bloody Valentine, I think they're really good. That's a new group. The Sundays, obviously, I think they're good. Some of the Sugar Cube stuff's good. All About Eve, a godlike group. There's lots of new people doing stuff, but it's still, I tend, I find that a lot of the things I like aren't really mainstream. And it's not any kind of snobbery, because I do like Prince, and I think Paul Abdul's single's brilliant, the 12-inch mix of it. So I'm just very open to stuff. I don't really listen to it. I don't go seeking pop music, I must admit. If it sort of happens to fall into me, then I listen to it and try and get something out of it. But I like music to sort of to move me, really. I don't put music on and do things. I tend to sort of sit down and listen to it. So it's a bit difficult, if you lay yourself open to too much garbage, you become tainted by it. So I try and be a little bit selective the older I get.
What about you? Is there a specific, like we were talking a little bit about earlier, where there was a specific kind of music that you prefer to work with, but is there a specific kind of music that you like?
Obviously I like the bands that I work with, which would mainly these days are The Cure, Talk, that say those are the bands I like, but actually I listen to a lot of classical music at home, and sort of things like Bartok. I'm not going to sound pretentious on television, am I?
What a shame they're all dead.
And soon you will be.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh dear, I didn't say that. I don't know.
All right, it's time for some more commercials here on MTV. We'll be back with more new videos and more new talk.
Radio by accident, or they're on telly, because...
We're on. All right, come on.
You know what I'm going to say? Down to the depths of my soul, that is the reason why the Cure keep making records. Yeah, it's just dross, things like that. Again, it's that was like the one before it. It's like U2, Simple Minds, stinking armpits and a leather jerkin. I mean, it's revolting. I've never met anyone that thinks that that's nice. Do you think that's nice?
No.
Do you think that's nice?
Well, I loved it. No, I have to be positive. I have to be positive. Let me stick up for them, because what was really interesting was that they had a camera around actually as the song was being written, and I think as a filmmaker, I mean, if only I could be around. I mean, to capture that sort of spontaneity on camera, I thought was amazing.
That was a plus.
Then there was the idea, and then they had the camera there at the concert and everything, and the whole thing was taken through, and suddenly what was like a dream in the studio. Is that what it's like in the studio? No, seriously.
It's one of those sort of happy accidents, one of those just chance, fate, and it all falls together at the right time.
It was amazing. Yeah. And then suddenly they're on stage, and it's like it's played to a million people, and it makes me happy.
In fact, if you think about it in those terms, it fills me up, that video.
It fills me up too. I like what it fills you up with. What it fills me up with too. But otherwise, we liked it.
No, talking of the studio, you've just been in the studio putting an LP together. How do you proceed? Sort of like making an LP.
Just like that. What happens next? It's completely haphazard, and we all just if we're all in the same place at the same time, we do something. That's how we work. It's just it's still sort of spontaneous. We try and keep it like that.
So what is the Cure? Is the Cure Robert Smith, or is the Cure a band? I mean, I'm slightly confused about that. I know we've probably been asked so many times.
It is a group, but like I said before, it's more than one group. I think it's been a lot of different groups, and the sort of the thread, I suppose, through it all has been my continuing presence. But I couldn't, like what the Cure does, I couldn't do on my own. So it is a group. It's very definitely a group. A lot of the songs wouldn't be written if I was on my own, because they're not all written by me. So.
No.
There wouldn't be anyone to sing them if I wasn't there, but in some people's eyes it might be a good thing.
About half a year ago or something, I remember that I was talking on TV about Robert Smith's solo LP that I heard a rumour about, something like that. Is there any truth in that? And will
That's
that
the beauty of your rumour.
You see, I've waited every day outside his door. I'm there with my camera, waiting for this solo album to happen every day. And what would I get?
No, it won't. It's been done. I did it at home. I did demos of it all, and it's all finished. But I don't know. It just seems a bit silly to do something like that when the group's so good. It seemed a bit petted if I went off on my own, really.
Yeah. So
they'd only turn up anyway. And they'd sit down next to me on the piano stool and start going, "They've had this for a middle-aged barb." Loads.
All right, we have to see another video. Here comes a band called Alphaville, and the track is called Romeos. He didn't seem to move much there.
They ran out of money again.
I don't know if that was a mistake from MTV side or if that was actually on purpose. Just didn't have a big enough budget to...
Good redeeming feature though, that ending. I like that. If it had happened 2.5 minutes earlier, it would have been a good video.
What did you think of the video? Apparently
Yeah, go on.
Well, apparently this video is a video, the first for a whole LP where they're planning to make a video for each track done by a foreign director and then put it together as some sort of feature thing.
Shame they couldn't have done them all at one go, so we wouldn't have had to wait.
No, that's right, I'm excited. But I thought there was a bit of a moral going on there, really. I think it said several things. I think it said, don't drink. Right? No, it did. There was a bit of the drinking. I think it said, do not go on the buses and don't pay the fare, because that bit with that geezer sort of there. And I think, and the final point, I mean, never go. I always pay my fare. And the final point, I think it was saying it was an anti-cigarette film. Don't put a fag in your mouth. And I think that's what it was saying.
I thought that was the bit about the bloke on the bus. No, that's right.
I tried.
Yeah, sorry. It was a bit confusing for me because I thought that he was sort of little. I thought he was like little, and then he's like wandering about with what looked horribly like a strange cigarette in his mouth, and it just didn't make sense. And how could he live in a flat like that if he was little? So obviously he was old, and if he was old enough to own a flat like that and stuff, then it didn't make sense anyway.
I think the fact is we're old, we're not
Yeah, it
modern.
makes you wonder.
Yeah. We're not modern.
It's good though, but the ending was definitely good. I like that. I like the confusion it caused.
I'm going to reenact the ending.
What about the Curious there? Now you're coming up with all these great ideas for all the messages there was in this video. Do the Cure have they ever had a message in any of their songs?
No. Not really. We're not really a message sort of group, are we? I don't think. It's just we're a group it sort of deals with emotions rather than messages, I think. So the videos, in fact, only reflect a very small part of the group. I think when we did the Cure in Orange film, that was like trying to redress the balance a bit, to try and put forward, because like the Cure's always been, ever since we started, a live band. It's a horrible term, but a lot of what we do is based around playing to an audience, and making videos and making records is a very sort of insular kind of thing, and it doesn't really have that communication that you get with an audience, and it's a very different sort of world. So I think the videos have tend to reflect like a side of the Cure which is quite I don't know, detailed and a bit sort of funny, a bit odd. So you couldn't really put a message in because they're not really serious enough. I don't think it's a serious enough medium of itself to start getting involved in messages. It's a bit. It would be a bit. All you end up doing is just making a dull video.
We're running out of time here. We're about to see the last video on today's show, and that comes from a band called Rainbirds. I don't know. What did you think of that?
It definitely goes on much longer than that. Because I was travelling back up from the West Country yesterday, and it was on a French radio station. It went on for about 20 minutes, and the middle bit's all like jungle noises, and it builds up and up and up. And I was sure it was like a Fleetwood Mac song that I'd never heard, which wouldn't be difficult since I never owned a Fleetwood Mac record. But it does sound to me like on even on the second listen like Fleetwood Mac. But the video was all right. Anything with fishing, I like. I mean, dogs and chickens for Pat, and anything with fishing goes.
All right, that was the last video in today's show, and I think before we leave, we should hear a little bit about your tour plans, because we've been showing the tour dates here on MTV. Have you got sort of a specific look for this tour? Any specific plans for what the tour's going to be like?
Not really. It's called the Prayer Tour. That's its name, and the stage has become like organic. That's the only difference, really. And obviously, all the songs are different, and we're back down to a 5-piece. And it'll be completely different, really. If you've ever seen this before, not if you've never seen this before, it'll be even more different.
I've heard that you've already worked, actually, or you've already finished the next video, yeah, haven't you?
Sort of.
What's the theme for that one? More phobias?
No theme really at all. It's absolutely the opposite. It just shows people standing in smoke playing, and probably come on here and everyone will hate it.
All right then. Well, your single is out on Monday, yeah?
Yeah.
When's the LP going to be out?
May the 1st.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me here today.
Yes.
And to the viewers, I hope that you'll tune in next week where we'll have lots of new videos. Stay tuned. Bye.